Hello, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Minnie Brown, and I had recently received a question on how to add registration marks to your project. Now, I showed it briefly, but I'm going to go over the details on where to find it because when you open up the Silhouette Cameo software, Silhouette Studio, it's defaulted to this. So we're going to start this off from the very beginning and to how to make the changes and the edits. Now this is strictly for a Silhouette Cameo. It's not for Cricut. I have a Cricut, I own one, I just hardly use it just because Silhouette Cameo I feel is so much easier and versatile because I'm a graphic designer and illustrator, so it's easy for me to transport and import the files in here, and I find the software very easy to use. Okay, so this is the design area. Now, just if this little panel does not pop up, I'll show you what it looks like. It's this little paper with the folded edge on the right-hand side. This is the default. So it defaults to your media size, which is 8.5 by 11, the cutting mat, which would be 12 by 12 by default, unless you're using a 12 by 24. Or if you have the portrait, because the portrait is 8.5 by, well, roughly 8.5 by 11. So I'm using the Cameo 3. I do own a 4. I'm going to be doing a video on that because I just got it. It is amazing, but there's a lot of issues with it. Okay, so the first one here is the paper with the folded edge. The next part is the grid. So this shows your grid. You should take it off and take it on, put it on, or you have the snap to grid. You could do smart snapping. That works well if you have multiple pictures or images on one here, like one, oh my God, my brain's not working this morning. On one design platform. So let's see. So I'm gonna turn the grid off and I'll show you why. So this little one right here, it's registration marks. It's the last one over here. It's defaulted as off all the time. You have to turn it on before you print something if you're doing a print and cut. If you're not doing a print and cut, then you don't need to have that on. So the registration marks, you put it on. Now they have lengths and thicknesses. I would leave the dimensions as is because that is very specific to the laser in the Silhouette Cameo that has to scan. Now, I have tested this out and I'm just realizing now why that might have been an issue. So with the default inset here, it's 0.625. That means it has this really thick type of border all around it, and you can change it to drop it lower so you have more printable space. However, it looks like it moves the same, but if you use the 0.394 with the same dimensions as this top, it will not print and cut. It won't even recognize the registration marks and it'll give you a problem. Now, this is only how I've come across with Silhouette Cameo 3. I hope this was resolved in the fourth one. I'm not sure. I haven't tested that out yet. But let me run through this because I want to see. Yeah, so this is, I wouldn't touch these parts just because it's defaulted to the laser and there's not much information out there to say, hey, if you want to change this, you'd have to change this in order to do so. So I just kind of leave it alone because I've played with it before and I messed it up and I wasted a lot of material and it was just very upsetting. Now, for this, for the registration marks, I would, again, if you need them, you put them on. If you don't need them, you take them off. because if you don't need to use them for print and cut, then you don't need them on at all whatsoever. Otherwise, anytime you put it in the machine, it's just gonna pretend to scan it over and over again. The grid is good if you are trying to line up certain images with this line here. I mean, it's helpful in some ways it's not. But yeah, that's how you turn on your registration marks for any print and cut on a Silhouette Cameo. And the software, I believe, is still the same. I have it installed on my other computer when I purchased the Silhouette Cameo 4. So I don't remember exactly what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it looks the same, if I'm not mistaken. Drop me a comment below if you have any other questions about the Silhouette Cameo 3, or if you have any like inquiries about Silhouette Cameo 4 if you have it. Now, I just got my Silhouette Cameo 4 last week, so I haven't really dove into all the new type of features that it has. As far as the machine itself, not so much as the software. But the one major complaint I could say is loud. It's very loud and noisy compared to my Silhouette Cameo 3. It is so loud. But let me know if you have a Silhouette Cameo 4, what are some things that you don't like about it? The machine itself, not the software, because the software is pretty much the same. Drop a comment below. I'm just curious to see what is the most frustrating thing about your Silhouette Cameo 4. Thank you for watching. Bye.